Okay, so we're back for today. It's down the 2nd of January 2020. Woo. So that's awesome. So we're having a good day. Last night was kind of an odd night for me. I kind of had a bit of a problem sleeping. I have an acid reflux problem and kind of slept, with my head turned and then kind of tucked under. So like it was like it kind of came up and then it kind of goes into your lungs and you're up coughing and then it's horrible, and cause your lungs can't deal with the acid, and it encapsulates it, and it's just horrible. So I was up for quite a while, and then I had to basically sleep sitting up, which was kind of crazy. It's not very comfortable. So, but other than that, I've had a pretty good day today so far. Still Christmas break, so nothing going on really there. Hopefully that's a better angle. I just moved that to a little bit better. So anywho, let's see. What is on my mind today? I think what's on my mind today is I don't know. I don't know. There's just so many different things rattling around in my mind. Okay, here's one. Perfect one. So, living here in Tacoma, the affordability, we'll say affordability factor, has gone really, sky high. Because everybody from Seattle, we're just way, way overpriced. It's moving to Tacoma because that's supposed to be better priced. But in the meantime, it's still driving the things up in Tacoma, too. So, wonderful. So that's what's going on here. In the meantime, I understand how the city, when they were creating their housing plans, in their wonderful infinite wisdom, said that they want to create these housing plans to create affordable housing. Thinks that a 400, 500 square foot place that's a studio or one bedroom, small one bedroom or a studio, whatever, at $1,000 is affordable. That's ridiculous. That's the size of a shoebox, okay? And you're charging $1,000 for that is ridiculous. You have to realize most people, for affordability, they're on limited income. They are retired people or older people, or on disability of some kind. And disability pays max. Most people make about $800 on disability. Now, some people make a little bit more, given if they've got disability from paid credits into the system and stuff like that. So there's that. But on average, you figure about $800 to $1,000. Okay, that's not much. And then that takes up your entire housing. And then what are you supposed to live on for food and utilities and everything else? And everybody says, "Oh, they can get housing." No, they can't get housing because the housing voucher systems are all booked up and all used up, and there's no more space available. So, yeah, affordability is a really funny term. I think this affordability thing is really funny that they choose to use. Doesn't really make sense. I think the term is really backwards. It doesn't make sense at all. It's not affordable at all. There's no affordability in it. And then there's somebody like me, I'm middle income. I make, probably a whopping maybe $32,000 a year. It's not a lot, but I don't qualify for housing programs. But I make, so I can't get a housing program of any kind. I don't qualify for even those housing programs where you're supposed to have a certain income level to move into the apartments. So I don't qualify for those. So I'm having to pay full market rates, and it's ridiculous. It's it kills me, So it's just a really tough market, for housing, and I just don't understand this affordability thing, which I think is so funny. I think their definition of affordability needs to be really re-looked at and is awfully skewed. Really skewed. I think Tacoma needs to maybe look at that process so they can fix that process, because You're not helping the situation any whatsoever. Yeah, not helping it in any way, shape, or form. So that's not good. So that's something that's messed up. Then here's something else that really bothers me. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. This Tim Eyman thing here in Washington State. We have this lovely little guy named Tim Eyman running around trying to get $30 car tabs or get this initiative or get that initiative or whatever passed. He abuses the initiative process. In Washington, we have this initiative process where citizens can come up with laws or create things, and then they get voted on and it's supposed to be followed by the legislature and all that. Unless they override it with a 2/3 majority vote type thing. He has gone out with these $30 car tabs repeatedly over and over again. The legislature has overturned it with a majority vote of 2/3 because we have to pay for the roads somehow. So he went out and got this $30 car tab thing again because he lives in Snohomish County. And Snohomish County is one of the 3 taxing districts. So there's Snohomish, King, and Pierce counties that get charged a higher rate for car tabs because we're in a taxing district to pay for what we call Sound Transit, which is our trains and light rail and buses and everything else for these, commuter buses and everything else. Well, he didn't like his tabs going up last year, so he decided that he wanted $30 car tabs, and he had the whole state vote on it. But the problem with it is this. You're having people in the state, so like somebody say in like Grays Harbor County, who doesn't have to worry about the car tab issue because it doesn't affect them in the least little bit. They're still getting a lower car tab rate to begin with because they're not in the taxing district for the Sound Transit, getting to vote on if I want $30 car tabs or not. So that's not fair. So the rest of the state got to vote and make decisions that affect 3 counties, which affects the major populous areas. So not really very fair. So like you can even have people in like Yakima County voting or whatever small counties, in these little rural counties that it doesn't affect. And yet they're going to decide if I'm going to have $30 car tabs and screw up my transit abilities. So now transit projects that we've had on schedule are going to now possibly be pushed away or pushed down the road or not even happen at all. And we may not get our roads fixed right away, or so transit projects, road projects, everything else projects are probably going to not get done right away or get done at all. So, thank you, Mr. Eyman, for being a fucking prick, because that's what he is, a fucking prick. By the way, in this vlog, I will be cussing, because that's just who I am. So, for being a fucking prick and having the whole state decide something for 3 counties. So, maybe you might want to rethink that process next time. Because it doesn't really affect, like I said, it doesn't really affect, I don't know, people like in Spokane County or Yakima County or Ferry County or Grays Harbor County or Wycombe County or Clallam County, how much they pay for tabs, because their tabs are already low enough compared to the people that live in Pierce, King, and Snohomish counties. Now, I know Pierce County people last year, when the tax thing came up for a vote, voted it down to raise the tabs, but I voted yes because I believe in transit systems. I want transit. I want to be able to just hop on a train and go to Seattle and not have to worry about parking and nightmare messes and everything else. And just hop a train back. To me, it's a wonderful idea. So I'm waiting for that to happen eventually. So I'm all for transit. So I voted, of course, yes for it. But overwhelmingly, Pierce County didn't go very well. Kind of voted down. But the other 2 counties voted yes for it. But this whole thing is being challenged in court, so it could be a long process. A very long, drawn-out process. Okay? Very long, drawn-out process. So who knows? I don't know. Could be a while. So in the meantime, this is where things are at with that. So I don't think that's right. I think that needs to be looked at. We really need to really look at things that are being voted upon and decisions that are being made at state levels, how they affect the whole state and different regions of the state. And then we need to start looking at maybe at when we pass certain economic packages or economic things, we need to look at it as a regionalized thing. I think you need to look at like the more urbanized areas, like the Snohomish, King, and Pierce counties, as one kind of regionalized area, where then you have like the more further north sound areas, the further south sound areas, coastal areas, central Washington areas, eastern Washington areas, northeastern, southeastern, whatever. However you want to regionalize it, you need to look at those areas economic-wise and look at how are these things going to affect those regions. I think instead of having to do this big statewide thing, because it's not working for everybody, and it's really not working. I don't think that I can understand a lot of the frustration that the people in like Eastern Washington feel, because their stuff's constantly going up, their taxes are constantly going up, they're constantly having problems because the urban people, which have the biggest block of the vote here in the west side of the state, are voting all these things, and our legislators are voting these things, and all these programs and all this other stuff, and yet your legislators are getting constantly voted down and not getting your guys' needs met and getting the things you need to have done. So I see that to be a problem. So I don't think it's right that our urban areas make decisions for the rural areas as well. So I think we need to really relook at like how we regionalize things, especially for economic packages or transportation packages or different kinds of things that are more financial based. It's like a general kind of state law, like they just passed a thing where the smoking age, that's obviously a statewide thing, whatever. Car seat thing for kids that passed too, or minimum wage for the state, that passed too. That personally, that is an economic one, but that should be across the state, because the minimum wage is just, you can't, like the federal minimum wage of $7.25 is way too low. Can't live on that at all. Nobody can live on that. So that needs to be like dealt with on the statewide level, and it doesn't matter if you're rural, urban, whatever. That just needs to happen, bottom line. So that's what has to happen. But I think other issues, like you said, transportation issues, or if you're going to pass a funding package for like transit or economic development or those kind of things, you really need to relook at how those things affect different regions in the state. Because otherwise it's not fair that some people are making decisions for the rest of the state and vice versa, So that's not right. I'm not saying that Washington, there's been this big supposed push, these certain people, it comes up every couple of years, to split Washington in half, now East Washington and West Washington, and have two separate states, and blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that should happen at all. I think that's the most ridiculous idea in the world. But I just think it just needs to be more regionalized how we look at things. So just regionalizing, I think that's a big key, so regionalization. Yes, definite regionalization. So another thing. Oh, let's touch on something that's really important. Okay, again, I told you yesterday I'm a substitute teacher. Okay, we are teachers. Okay, regardless if I have an emergency certification or not, I'm still a teacher. I teach. I do understand how to teach. I've taught other things before. In other ways, this wasn't called a teacher, but I've taught things, skills and other things to people. So I know how to do a lesson plan and all that stuff. But they treat the substitute teachers so poorly. So poorly. We get treated so badly. It's ridiculous. Pay-wise, we're paid so poorly. I mean, you work it out, really, I'm paid like about $20 an hour, which doesn't seem like super bad, because I'm saying that, like, I think the minimum wage is like $13.50, and so like $15, because what some people are saying the minimum wage should be. So I'm paid a little more than minimum wage, but still not enough given the cost of goods and services in the area, And a lot of us as substitute teachers are de facto full-time employees. We work every day for the districts that we sub in, especially some of these larger, more urban districts we sub in. We're working every single day, and as doing so, that's a de facto full-time employee, but you're just not giving us the benefits of those things. So that's a problem. Have a real issue with that. That needs to be maybe re-looked at. I think pay needs to really go up, and I think they need to really look at things. Like the district I'm with now this year doesn't do differentials. The district I was with it before, Tacoma, they do differentials based on the school and based on if it's a special ed position and how many hours you've got into the system and for that year and everything else. Whereas the district I'm working now, which is called Clover Park, doesn't have that differential. And there's some schools they just can't get people to fill at. So they may want to think about doing those differentials to help get those things filled. Because this is really important. If you want to have, subs, you might want to start thinking about paying them more and also giving them some benefits and also giving, pay differentials if need be to fill harder to fill spots. Might encourage some people to say, I'll take a little harder job today. You're paying me a little extra. Why not? So, something to think about. The other thing that you need to think about is Tacoma, when I was with Tacoma, if you didn't get your planning period because you had to cover for somebody because they were short subs or whatever, you got paid extra money for loss of planning. The district I'm with now, we don't get that. If we just have to cover a class, we just have to cover a class and we don't get that time as a break. I don't think that's right. That's my break time too. I need a break too. I have things I have to take care of throughout my day, like sometimes personal matters. And the 30-minute lunch I get isn't enough time to make all the phone calls I gotta make or handle all the things I gotta handle and respond to all the emails and things and text messages and everything else I get throughout the day. I don't get to handle all those things if I'm having to if I don't get a break. And that 30 minutes is not enough time to get all of those responses done. And I don't think I should have to prioritize which is important, which is not. I think I should be able to answer all of them and get everything answered and get, make my appointments and do what I have to do and all other good stuff because that's what it is. So that needs to be looked at too. I think these are all very important things today that we've talked about. So that's where we're at. I think I've eaten kind of healthy today. I mean, I had McDonald's for breakfast. Don't get me wrong. It's not like the greatest food in the world because it's fast food. But, it was healthy because I ate at breakfast. And they say breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But I did have a good lunch. I just had one sandwich. So that's not bad. Just had a sandwich. So that's pretty good. And it was a pretty basic sandwich. Just roast beef and some cheese. But it was pretty good. So I'm thinking, I'm easing my way into my weight loss plan. I'm getting there. I should probably fully be on it by next week. That's the goal. By next Monday, boom, hitting the ground running. So that's where we're at with that. Interesting news thing that happened today. This is a weird news thing that came across my phone as a news item. Thought it was very interesting. Apparently there was a water main break by the Tacoma Mall, and 139 restaurants have been told because they have brown water, they need to shut down basically. And they can't operate, which is pretty messed up. So it's like, ooh, that's kind of crazy. And so they're out money and they're losing business and all that. And then they said that, and they listed in the news story I was reading, this whole process they have to go through to get reopened with all of the items of water. Because you have to think about it. All these restaurants also have automatic ice machines. So the ice constantly is made, dumped out, put in the thing. You have to dump all the ice, run a cycle through, dump all that ice, clean out the bin, and all that stuff. Flush all your lines for soda and all that. You have to run all your lines for the water for washing dishes and any other kind of things. You have to run water at the sinks. Flush toilets, all that kind of stuff too, because nobody wants to go to the bathroom even with brown water. It looks kind of creepy. So you have to flush a lot of stuff. Lots of things you have to think about. Dishwashers, you have to run those a couple times to get all the brown water through the system. All those things. It's a lot of stuff to do. And so these restaurants could be down for a couple of days, even if they get the line repaired today. They could be down for a couple of days because they have to do all these processes. Because if you open an ice machine bin thing, that doesn't happen. That takes a good 48 hours to fill one of those back up. So that's not exactly an easy process. I remember when I used to work restaurants, we had to do this sometimes. We had to empty the whole thing out, scrub it down, run it through once, and then run it through a second time, and then take all that ice out, and then we could use it for the third round, and then use that ice on the third round as we clean it each time that the 2 rounds went through it to kind of we wipe it down. And then we could reuse the whole, fill it back up. And that took a good 48 hours, 72 hours to fill up the ice bin. So not exactly an easy thing to fill, you know. And some of these restaurants too, like they have, and that was a little machine we had like in the back, and we had to like take the buckets of ice and then dump them into a thing and then fill it up every so long, much, you know, on the top. And then because if people have their self-serve, now a lot of these self-serves, they already have the ice it comes out because the water fills up the thing for the ice machine at the self-serve. So that's the thing about that. That's a whole process in itself too. I'm like, oh my goodness. So that's a lot of, it's just, poor restaurants. I just feel bad for them. So that's a crazy, crazy thing. Crazy. Oh, here's something, by the way. I didn't mention this yesterday. So let's talk about the New Year's Eve thing. I'm all for when people want to celebrate New Year's Eve and you want to shoot off some fireworks. Okay, great, whatever. But when you're letting off, obviously, explosive devices that are not just like straight up fireworks, you know, and you're doing firecrackers, you're not just doing like some little things that go up and, you know, just sparkles. People where I was living at were like literally lighting off like concussive bombs that would like shake and rattle, and it was pretty crazy. Yeah, that's a problem, okay? And they were starting it well before midnight, too. And it's like, you're only supposed to do that at, like, midnight. That's when the New Year thing is. And they were starting well before midnight. So, I have a problem with that. Big, big no-no. Plus, at the same time, fireworks are supposed to be illegal in the city of Tacoma anyway. It doesn't matter if it's New Year's or 4th of July or what. It doesn't matter what the holiday is. They're illegal in the city of Tacoma. So, that should have been a big thing. I think the cops should have worked a little harder on that. Big slip up there. I think they blew the opportunity to really clean up some things right there. Yeah, so I don't know. But this is my second vlog entry. I think it went well, and we'll keep going. I've only had one comment so far. Somebody said, "Good job," but I haven't heard any other feedback. So we'll just keep going and wait for more feedback to come in. So, thanks everybody. Have a good day, and see y'all tomorrow.